Because you've always taken such charge.
You are listening
to the Border Chronicle.
Welcome to the Border Chronicle podcast. I am Todd Miller, one of the co-founders of the Border Chronicle. You can come find us at theborderchronicle.com. We publish content every Tuesday and Thursday, both text and audio. And we aspire to provide content about the U.S.-Mexico border from a border perspective. So please come and subscribe and see what we're coming. Just see what we're about, if you may. And we try to cover all kinds of different things, all different angles from the borderlands, including the positive angles. And that is why today we have our good friend Jacques Servin of the Yes Men. Hey, Jacques, welcome to the Border Chronicle podcast.
Thank you so much, Todd. It's a pleasure to be here. It's a delight.
Yeah, it's truly a delight to have you with us today. We are not going to talk necessarily about the Yes Men, but I guess you could bring in the Yes Men a little bit. But I wanted to talk to you, Jacques, about your project that you're doing in the Borderlands in Tucson. And that project of, I'll let you explain, but it all involves building mud or adobe bricks from buffalo grass, and that's sort of regenerating that which a quote unquote weed, if I may, into something valuable to the people in the Borderlands area. But I'll let you explain your project, if you will.
Sure. Yeah. I mean, first of all, with the Yes Men, with which I go under the name Andy, what we do is mainly expose things that aren't well enough known by the public. So it's like we play tricks on people, we do funny things, we kind of like use spectacular means to inject information into the media. This is our theory anyways, and sometimes it works, sometimes it doesn't. But inject things into the media that aren't sufficiently known, like, broad brush, kind of like, hey, did you know that that this company responsible for this explosion hasn't actually done squat to compensate people? That sort of thing. And it's become really hard in the last few years because actually it seems like everything is really clear what's going on. Like anybody with an eye and an ear, or even two of each, can easily see exactly what's going on. And if you can't, it's willful and you don't want to. So our job is a little bit hard to figure out right now. So, I've done several projects against the current regime, and none of them has really worked very well. So none of them has gotten much attention because they didn't actually introduce anything new. There wasn't much to introduce that people don't already know. It's very clear. So anyways, it got me thinking, I guess 2 or 3 years ago, my friend David Walker had this incredible idea in Tucson. I was spending a lot of time in Tucson for my family, for my mother, and he just told me this incredible idea he had of building housing for low-income or unhoused people using bricks that the unhoused people are paid to make. And they're actually pretty easy to make. You take this noxious weed called buffalo grass, grows up to 5 feet long. You lay it into bricks, providing tensile strength for the adobe bricks, which adobe never has otherwise. And then you make these incredibly strong, incredibly large bricks too. They're like 5 feet long, 4 feet long sometimes, and pretty thick. And it takes 4 people to lift them. And so it sounds inconvenient, but it's also very easy to assemble such big Legos into a house. You know, technically, like, it doesn't require that much expertise. It just requires a lot of muscle power and a lot of people power. And you know, it's actually pretty good to employ people to do things these days. There are a lot of people who need work and are excited to work outside. We have tons of volunteers who show up at our brickyard every week making bricks. We've made 200 so far. We're still in the kind of phase of figuring it all out and rolling it up and talking to the city and so on. But, you know, it by the way, you can go to barriobuffleworks.com to find out more about our model.
And we'll have that. We'll have a lot of this stuff in the write-up, like all
cool.
the links and stuff like that.
Oh, great. That's great. Well, yeah, so you can go and the bigger picture here, okay, so that's what I've been doing instead of the Yes Men stuff, but the bigger picture of that is that it demonstrates that we can do things really differently than we've been doing them. And my feeling is that the giant corporate system that we depend on for every last bit of thing that we do, period, is part of what's led us to fascism in this country. I'm not alone in thinking that. And what this shows is that, at least with the construction industry, we can do things that just entirely cut out that industry. We can make these bricks, we can build the foundations, we can put together these houses using very little large corporate manufactured material, and do it mostly ourselves and much, much cheaper, just with a lot of labor. And that is kind of a signal that we can get away from this insane system that, you know, again, I feel has led us to fascism. And if we can do that right here in the borderlands, then we can do it anywhere, you know? With this one industry, we can do it here in the, you know, Tucson borderlands. We can probably figure out ways to do it in this industry in other places and maybe in other industries. This is just a start, you know?
Well, that's quite a different vision of the borderlands. I just went to this thing called the Border Security Expo, and they had a completely different vision of what would go on in the borderlands.
What's it called?
The Border Security Expo. It's this
really cool, because actually the project I was telling you about, that project, building these houses using the labor of unhoused people and others to build these houses for unhoused people, is also about border security. It's all about border security. That's what it is.
Yeah, this Border Security Expo is actually, it brings in like the big head honchos of customs and border protection and immigration and customs enforcement.
No, we should probably talk to them, because, like, look, when we build houses for people who need housing, we're not just creating security for the people who will live in the houses, or the people who get paid and fed to when they're making these bricks. It also creates a security for everyone, just knowing we live in a society that takes care of those who are suffering unnecessarily. And it also makes the city more beautiful. And you could say that that's a kind of visual security for our eyes. There are so many levels of how building these houses out of this beautiful material, by the way, it becomes beautiful. And, you know, Tucson destroyed whole swaths of neighborhoods in the 70s to build the convention center, and this kind of restores that. So there's a kind of security that is built. I would call it security. It's like we can live in a city that feels secure about, you know, how we're treating the least fortunate among us. So we should, yeah. Does this thing you're talking about have any?
Yeah,
money?
There's money. There's definitely money there. Lots of money.
We need money We don't need that much money. Look, we're renting a brickyard at Mission Garden, right across the street from Mission Garden, which most of your listeners probably know. And it's like
I don't think they're
$200 each month. And what?
I don't think they're going to give money to you. I don't think
Why not? I
they.
mean, it sounds like we're doing exactly what they're worried about, like,
I think
security.
I think they have a whole different idea of what security is than what you're talking about. I like what you're talking about. But I don't think they have this whole different idea that I don't know. It might be difficult for them to
Well, you said
to.
border wall. You said like wall, and that's exactly what we're building.
Yeah,
We're
that's what they're
building
thinking
walls.
about doing.
Yeah,
Border. You're
and
building
that's
border
what
walls
we're
too.
doing. Yeah, no, we're building
What do you
walls.
mean you're building border walls?
We're building walls in the borderland. I mean, they're like walls. These wall. Look, a house is mainly a wall. I don't know how many houses you've built, but a house is mainly a wall or a series of four walls, and then you put a fourth wall on the top, and you call that a roof. I mean, that's basic, and the roof is totally different. You don't just like, put up bricks up there. You use some wood and whatever, but we're basically building walls, and if that's what they're concerned about, then it like each brick weighs 145 pounds, so you have teamwork, you assemble it, but then you have this wall that just doesn't fall down.
Well, that
I
part
mean,
of it, though, like the
yeah, I mean, have
145
you been to
pounds.
Casa
That
Grande? Those walls are still there, and that, who knows? That was 1,000 years ago, I think, that people built that. So it's like, if they want
I
a
tell you,
really
they're not
strong
thinking
wall,
about it.
I think they will. I think they will. And these walls that we're building,
I
although
don't think they will.
theirs don't have tensile strength. If they're building out of mud, or even if they're building out of concrete or whatever,
So you're saying your walls are better than their walls?
they're better, but they're also, I mean, yeah, if they're interested in walls, they're going to be interested in this, and we should tap into their money a little bit because we need
Wait,
to pay rent at our brickyard. So that's pretty much it. I mean, we can get donations or whatever, but
I
why
don't.
not ask
I don't think
them?
you're understanding what they're about, though. I just don't.
I
I
Well, isn't it up to? I think I do. You said they're about border security, and you said that they built there's a wall situation that they're
the
concerned about. So we're doing border security. We're building walls. We're like, it sounds like we're made for each other. I think, yeah.
Jacques, listen to
Good.
me. Listen to me. Listen to me.
What?
They're not
What?
about that. They're
What
not
are
about that. Trust me.
They're about
They are not about.
security. How can they not be about this? They're about security. This is the only, I mean, this is border security. We're like, it's
Jacques,
borderland. Yeah,
you're
what?
not hearing what I'm saying. You're not hearing what.
I hear you saying it's not about that, but
Jose, can you
I
turn
have
this guy
no
down?
idea why it would not be about that. Why that
Jacques,
makes
listen,
no sense.
listen, listen,
No
listen.
sense
Just
at
listen to
all.
me for a
No
second.
sense. I mean, I know you're very smart, and I know you make a lot of sense, but you're not
Jacques,
hearing me.
please turn him down. Jacques, listen to me. Well, hold on. Okay, I'll go with this conversation with you. I will go into this conversation with you. Trust me. But you got to listen to me. You got to hear what they're really about over there. Okay. So the wall, when you're talking about the wall, you're just talking about the walls, and I hear you with the four walls in a house. I get it. Yeah. I think it's great, right? But that's not what they're talking about. They're talking about building one of those big walls to stop people from crossing the border. That's what it's about. It's about
Wait,
bringing in,
wait, say that
yeah,
again? They're building a wall to stop people from what?
crossing the border.
How is that
Yeah.
security? How, I mean, with us, it's obvious what we're providing security for.
Well, they call it that. That's what they say, border
What do they
security.
mean? Is it like who's it security for? Is it for the people who want to cross the
Okay,
border? Or
okay, okay. Let's parse this out. All
yeah,
right. Is it okay? Is it security for people crossing the border?
yeah.
Well, no, it's not,
No,
right?
obviously no.
Okay, so
So
it's purposely designed to force people into very dangerous. In fact, it's anti-security.
uh,
It makes it, the whole point of it is to make it more dangerous for people. So, okay.
Okay, so
All
that's
right.
not it. Is it security for people who live in the border region, like right around the wall? Is that what it's for, to keep them safer?
Not really. I mean, if you go and talk to anyone, like say in the Tohono Nation,
Mm-hmm.
they will
Mm-hmm.
talk about being pulled over and harassed and their homes invaded and being pulled out of their cars and being maced. Or if you talk to people in Arivaca,
Uh-huh.
Arizona, they'll talk about having to go through checkpoints to go to the doctor's office.
Oh wow.
No,
Okay.
I
Okay.
guess no. You don't hear much about security from people actually living in the
Well,
borderlands. Okay, you
wow.
might have a point here, Jacques.
Well, what is it? Is it security for like people's jobs, like Americans, in our jobs, like, you know, are do they think that they're keeping this wall is going to keep people from coming in and doing our accounting jobs or whatever jobs we want to they that we would like to do? I
Well,
mean,
that's what they say. You
but
know,
that
that's
doesn't
one of
make
the talking
sense.
points.
That doesn't make sense. There are
Um,
people I know a couple of contractor people in Tucson who say that it's kind of a crisis because they don't have labor. Like white Americans aren't used to doing this shit, and they don't want to do the jobs that people have been doing. And now that they've
okay, so
come,
all right, so
so it's not that. It's not security for small businesses, is what I'm saying. I guess, right? It,
security for small businesses.
like, because they seem
No.
to be in trouble finding people to work, and they have to raise prices on everything now, as
Yeah,
I
prices good.
understand it.
Okay, so
So
all right.
what's it about? Like, if it's not,
So
who's the security for?
well, what you're saying, okay, so parsing it out. All right, we
Hmm.
parsed it out. Okay. So let's go. Let's go. Let's just back up. Your premise is you are border security
Yes,
by
yes,
building bricks,
yeah.
um,
Building houses, yeah, and
and building houses. That what they call border security is really not true
yeah.
because it's not security for anyone who lives in the region or is crossing the border or for anyone beyond that.
Yeah, exactly. Like,
Econ-
who else is there?
so okay, all right,
So
okay.
what?
I can go with you. I want to go on this little tangent here because
Okay,
it's kind of interesting. Yeah,
okay,
I like this little tangent here.
okay.
All right. So then, what is it for?
Yeah, what's it
I
for?
mean, people. So one of the things I have when I've been like reporting on this stuff forever. People say that word border security endlessly. They just say it.
Mm-hmm.
It's actually now that we're actually thinking about it and looking at it and
Mm-hmm.
examining it and
Mm-hmm.
looking at it philosophically and looking at
Mm-hmm.
it from its linguistic roots.
And
You know,
pragmatically.
when we're looking at it from these angles, it
Yeah.
actually doesn't make sense at all. In fact, it's kind of mind numbing. It reminds me how kind of mind numbing the word is, right? It just
Uh-huh.
kind of people say it and you automatically just kind of ingest it and go, oh,
Yeah.
I have to be for this. And but
Yeah.
okay, all right.
Border
So
security?
who on earth? So who does it benefit?
Yeah, exactly. Who does it benefit? I mean, so I guess what? There's like a lot of people. You said there's a lot of money at this thing, and people go and they're building this wall at the border. I mean, that must be expensive, and they must get a lot of money to build the
Okay,
wall.
yeah. There's lots of contractors, private
Okay.
contractors. That is for sure. At
Huh.
the Border Security Expo
Yeah.
this time, they first of all, well, they were talking about $191 billion
What?
coming
What?
from the OBA Act, the whatever One Beautiful Bill
Oh
Act, or
God.
however you say that.
Mm,
Um, that's going to go to border enforcement, border and immigration enforcement, primarily CBP and ICE. So they were putting up some pretty big figures,
that's a
like
mess.
record number figures,
Yeah.
and figures that were going like to record number contracts. In fact, I've been kind of looking at the contracts, a lot more contracts than ever before. And we're
Wow.
looking at massive budgets. Like
Yeah.
there's last year's $33.5 billion budget for CBP and ICE.
Oh, geez.
That was the highest ever. I mean, yeah,
And what
there's
about these?
definitely companies benefiting.
And
Go
are
ahead.
these companies influential? Do they have like say, do you think, enough to say like we're going to build this wall? We're not going to stop this. This stuff, sure, you whatever security, maybe that doesn't make sense, but we're still doing this. And
They are very influential, and more
oh,
influential than your group, and that's that.
uh-huh.
And now that I'm thinking, maybe because they can lobby, they
Yeah.
can get behind closed doors, they can give campaign contributions,
Okay.
they can get in the ears of the appropriations committees, the Homeland Security committees, all the different
Wow.
committees that will define what budgets are, how much money is going into this. So yeah, there's a
Wow.
lot of
Okay.
influence. Yeah.
Is that
So
enough to explain it? I mean, it occurs to
no.
me another thought is like, you hear a lot of railing from the top levels of government against immigrants as if they were causing anything that's going wrong. And is that part of it? Do they just want to make this spectacle at the border to, you know, blame immigrants?
Yeah, I think well, I think you answered that question yourself right at the very beginning of our podcast, right? When you said, talking about the yes men and
Uh-huh. Uh-huh.
how you are revealing the hidden.
Yeah.
And if there's anything that's not been hidden in the Trump years, it's this total, complete, and utter scapegoating of uh, immigrants, but anyone foreign or anything that make America great again. The sort of scapegoating of anything that's considered outside of that, right? So
Um,
totally, that is definitely a part of so the border
wow.
security is
Yeah.
security for okay, all right, I can go with this. Border
Okay.
security is security for these
Yeah.
contractors, I should
Yeah.
say contractors, and then security to be able to scapegoat
Okay.
and create autocratic, dictatorial, even.
Yeah. Yeah. Okay.
All
That
right,
and that seems pretty clear. I heard
okay.
this thing about the military believe, and it just occurs to me. I wonder if this is part of it. They have been like really very clear that climate change is real. While every like all these MAGA nuts are like, yeah, no, it's hyped. But the military is extremely clear. Yeah, no, this is catastrophic, and there's going to be a billion refugees in the world or whatever it is in a decade or whatever they're saying. I don't know the figures, but I wonder if there's some element of this where the military and DHS and so on are just they actually believe this is a threat, that they have to like build
They
a fortress because there's going to be so many millions of refugees in the near future. Are
they
they actually
totally believe
sincere?
it's yes, yes. You're correct on this one too. If
What?
you go back, the archives go back decades with the Pentagon talking about
Oh,
prognostications and assessments about future people displacement of people due to environmental or climatic reasons, right?
reasons.
So, like,
Yeah. So like in this case, they're like, oh yeah, this drought in the dry triangle of what Salvador and Honduras and Nicaragua is going to get
yeah,
worse and worse, and people are going to be pressured more and more to abandon their farming and come north. So we better build a wall against the Mongol hordes, basically. That like
and
China built the Great Wall, and we've got to do that too. Is
right.
that? I mean,
It's exact. You're hitting the nail on the head because what you're just referring to in Central America, the dry corridor area,
mm-hmm,
um, is uh, is CBP, Customs and Border
mm-hmm,
Protection.
mm-hmm.
They put out reports in 2018 saying that it was food insecurity and what they were referring to in the really drought-stricken areas of Guatemala. They were talking about Guatemala and saying food insecurity was the main cause of people being displaced. This is
Whoa.
in 2018. So, and it was during the first Trump administration. So it was interesting. So somebody came up to
Huh.
Trump
Yeah.
and said, "Oh, is this climax?" And it was the same kind of sort of denial. But this exposes that contradiction, right? There's actual Customs
Wow.
and Border Protection saying, "No, this is a prime driver of why people are." Or one of the because you can never say it's hard to simplify it into one thing. There's
Yeah.
multiple things,
Yeah.
and which is also another thing. Actually, it makes me think of like along with the climate and the kind of system that creates the climate, right? Where you have the United States, right? The United States is the top historic greenhouse gas emitter.
Yeah.
I think it's like 28% of greenhouse gas emissions over the last since the Industrial Revolution come from the United States. So extraordinarily high number, way above any other country.
Wow.
And based on when you look at like the system of capitalism, right, and how that just turns out like this, whatever, however you want to put it, but in this case, fossil, like just extraction of and burning of fossil fuels, and that just polluting the atmosphere to then create these conditions that we're seeing, like the dry corridor in Central America. You see a system, right? A system of that we have, a global economic system, we could say, which climate is one part of it. Massive inequality, massive people being, not being able to make ends meet is all a part of it. The ability of companies to go places and extract and exploit, all of that needs to be put together, put in this sort of scaffolding of security, right?
Right. Wow. Wait. So
what I'm trying to say, I'm just going along with what you're saying here.
Yeah.
I'm going with you. It's benefiting that there's a certain not anyone who lives in the borderlands as you so greatly exposed, much to my chagrin and frustration. But it's something else that's benefiting from this.
Right. It's this idea that we can keep the world going just as it is by spending a shit ton of money on this border wall to keep the hordes out, and we're very conscious of that. I mean, to me,
and they use that word, hordes, though that word is used quite a bit.
Is it? No, they actually use the word hordes?
Yeah. They use the word hordes.
God, that's insane.
Yes.
Because when I hear hordes, I think of the Great Wall of China.
Like,
which didn't work, by the way.
Yeah, I've seen the word used.
Okay. Well, anyways, look, if
the Great Wall of China,
No, if that's what they're doing, if that's what they're thinking, I think it doesn't betoken like a complete and total lack of imagination? Because there's this problem, and so that's very complex, because everything's pretty complex in the when you're talking global level situations and economy and all that. And our solution is going to build this incredibly simple wall. It's just going to be a wall, and we're going to keep these people out. Like, what could you mentioned this figure. You said they have $33 billion for 1 year of budget for these people. Like, what could...
Yeah, last year. I mean...
Wouldn't there be another way to use $33 billion to maybe make it so people didn't have to flee where they live? Because they don't want to, anyways.
It seems maybe like there would be.
Doesn't it?
Yeah. Well, let's do that exercise. That's what we're doing. We're doing good exercises here.
Yeah.
We figured out that it's really not border security. That's a lie. It's an inaccurate, complete lie of a term. And every time we hear that term, we should go, oh, that's a lie. If somebody says that, go, that's a lie. It's totally inaccurate. And if they say, what are you talking about? We'll do the points that we just broke down. And then we also we see, oh God, it is border security, but it's border security for the people we listed that benefited, the entities that benefited. Yeah. So now let's break down. Okay, $33 billion. That is the budget of that was last year. $33.5 billion. You can't miss that $5.5 billion. Come on. Yeah. $33.5 billion, which is, again, Customs and Border Protection and ICE.
That's a lot.
Goes to border and immigration enforcement. It went to all those city raids, Minneapolis operation, Metro Surge operation. All those operations we saw throughout all the different cities.
And that's sort of the wall writ large. That's not only building the physical wall, but just making this scary thing, this $33.5 billion scary thing that is going to make a spectacle, recompense contractors, and make people think something's important being done to fix a problem. And the only real problem is that actually the world is in trouble climatically, and people are getting displaced by drought. So the question is, could you take the $33 billion if you weren't, trying to reinforce a fascist regime, could you take the $33 billion and fix the drought? Is there stuff you could do that would, like, say, bring more water to northern Mexico, where people end up and want to migrate from? Are there ways to repair the land in the dry corridor in Central America? Could 33 billion, I know there's all sorts of water projects, and they're unconventional. Tucson has a bunch of water projects. Could you, if you spent, and they don't cost very much, they cost in the thousands. If you spent 33.5 billion, I'll bet you could get a lot of water fixing, water harvesting, and water channeling, and water nurturing, whatever it's called. I'm not a specialist, but that could fix the environment in some places. That would make people not have to leave.
Okay, I get it. You're back to the beginning. You are back to what you were talking about at the very beginning, where you're saying that the mud project is the brick project.
Yeah.
For example, it's one example. I don't know. You had very many examples. You didn't even mention the brick project in your examples. But one example of many, many examples.
Yeah.
Of what? Okay, I'm going to use your words at the very beginning. Border security.
Exactly.
Is that what you're saying?
Yes. Okay, the stuff we're building in Tucson, or that we want to build all throughout Tucson, these houses, that's a form of border it's border security. It's security in the borderlands. But you could also build them in places below the border where people don't, they're very cheap to build. There's tons of buffalo grass there near Hermosillo and everywhere over there. There's so much of this crap that you could make these houses, and it's not expensive. It just takes some labor, and people enjoy this kind of work, as it turns out. So yeah, you could make houses. People need houses to live in. Maybe that's part of it. But also there's water reclamation. There's like landscaping the earth. Apparently there are these very simple ways that, Brad Lancaster in Tucson has talked a lot about, and actually transformed the city in that regard. There are ways to channel water that otherwise goes to waste. So maybe there's a way to, like, repair entire countries with $33.5 billion, and entire regions of countries like northern Mexico. Maybe that's an approach to border security, building, the kind of things we're doing, as well as other, land repair and social repair things in the borderlands. Maybe that's what $33 billion could be used for. I'm feeling good about
It's
this.
very obvious what you're saying is correct. Okay, but yes, okay. I'm totally with you now.
Okay.
I've come around from the beginning. I'm with you.
Okay.
Okay, but I want to think, because I want to think on your project again, because I want to go back, because for the love of God, that was the reason for our interview here.
Oh, right. Forgot. Okay.
Yes. So, but let's go back to that. And I like, because when I'm thinking about, like, border security, and then you're going to do this project in the borderlands, and you're building walls, like you say, and then you're building, like, vertical walls, but also a horizontal one. Yeah. And the horizontal one is a roof. Yeah. And I think when I think of security, like, in the world, if I'm going to use that word, like that word, and that word has been, now I realize how maligned it's been, how many ways that word has been used. And it's very simple, really. It's just building things. Yeah. I wonder if these people, you mentioned that this expo thing that you go to,
they have a lot of money. They have billions of, or well,
Right.
their people have billions of dollars. The
They're
company.
funneling that 33.5 billion. That
Oh
33.5 billion
my
you're
God.
mentioning.
Okay,
They're
so
funneling.
that's way more than we've been applying for little grants of a couple thousand here and there to make these bricks, and
Yeah.
it's been enough for now. But if we could tap into even like, well, on that one half
So you want to
billion.
go in the border security industry? That's what you
I
want.
think
You want to go
so.
in
I
the
mean,
border?
I think this would
Yeah,
be.
yeah.
I look. They're using this word.
Okay.
It's very border security. It's very easy to poke a giant
Right.
hole and sink that word. So maybe,
Right.
maybe some of the people who go there are actually curious and would actually understand if we said, look, you guys are all about border security. We respect that, but you've got it wrong. Border security is not building a wall. It is not keeping people out. It is building housing for people who need it. It's channeling water. Let's go there and see if we can convince them. I mean, it doesn't seem that far-fetched. They use the word all the time.
So
You know, we could just correct them.
it's not far-fetched. That's what I'm trying to say. Like a roof over someone's head is the ultimate security,
Yeah,
right? Of
and maybe
anything,
they
right?
can see
So
it.
it makes complete and utter sense.
And
So
it's not
so
far-fetched to
so
think
what you're
that these people could change their minds, I think. Let's go try.
you think they've changed their minds? All right.
Maybe. I mean,
Okay.
whatever they're thinking is wrong, and maybe we can show them that.
Okay, so what I want to suggest is
Yeah.
that the Border Chronicle
Yeah.
follow a process
Okay.
of applying to have a booth
Okay.
at next year's Border Security Expo. For
Okay.
you.
Oh my God. Okay, let's do it.
And
Yes.
we like they bring in all kinds of like the magazines or like trade publications at the Border Security Expo, like Homeland Security Today, and
Yeah.
they gave out awards for the Border Security Man of the year
Oh
at the
dear.
last one,
Oh dear.
which was won by Thomas Homan, the
Wow.
border czar. Yeah,
It's
yeah.
it's
So they
always a
have
man.
um, I think they used the word man of the year, but it could have been maybe they
Wow.
used person of the
Well,
year.
it's okay because I am.
They do err on the male side of things quite a
Yeah.
bit, but that they don't totally discriminate. There are,
Okay.
Christy Nome was a keynote speaker
Oh
last
yeah.
year, for
Okay.
example.
Wonderful.
So
Okay.
there's representation. There's probably I don't know. That'd be a good exercise too
Because
to
there's a
see
lot
like
of
break
women
down.
who enjoy this kind of work too, and it's actually like
Yeah.
building these houses is very fun for children even. Like you can encourage children to join, and apparently when this is done traditionally in like indigenous communities in New Mexico and Arizona, like the children have a big role and they really enjoy it until the men insist on concrete and then they all scatter and go home. So if we can
Right.
if we can go and make this demonstrate this multi-generational gender kind of like process and how great it can be and how much security it can bring, and if we make that point intellectually, maybe in
Maybe
manpower,
we should
you know
we could get like because some of the bigger companies get these big booze
uh-huh
areas like
uh-huh yeah
Anduril, they're the top contractor for surveillance
oh
towers.
yeah
Or Elbit Systems, an Israeli
uh-huh
company
uh-huh
that has integrated fixed towers.
wow
Maybe you could apply for like a big one and to have like a mud building workshop there.
Oh, that would be great. No, it's right. If they get their hands in the mud, and maybe the rest of them too, they
Yeah.
will understand what this is about and how great this can be. Because it feels so great to work on this stuff, and you end up just
Yeah.
filthy. I mean, they might not want to look filthy because they're probably all in business suits, but
They are.
yeah. Well,
But the vendors are generally just people that get a job and
yeah,
they're just
yeah. So
in
that's
polo
us.
shirts for their
Well,
companies.
yeah,
Yeah,
we'll
yeah, yeah.
just go. We'll wear polo shirts, and then we don't mind getting our polo shirts messy, and we'll have this mud
It's
workshop. Yeah,
right. Sometimes,
everything.
like for your worldview to change in life, you got to get muddy, right?
Yeah, you got to get
You got
down
to
in
get
that.
muddy for
You
that.
got to feel what the earth is like. You got to get into the earth. I've discovered this that it really changes your perspective when you're mixing plants and mud, and you're putting them together with a bunch of people, and you're eating, and you're having this good time. And
Oh, you want to
you,
get food involved?
I
We
mean,
could have
yeah,
like
that's it's part of it. You know,
on
we
the side. We could have a like a food stand of some
or right
sort.
in the middle, or when you participate in making some bricks,
Sure.
you get a taco or two, and like there's no tit for tat, but that could be part of it. There could be like some
Okay.
cooking with a big
All
fire.
right.
I think
All right.
I mean, it's what works at the brickyard that we have every Saturday, and people, just love the whole process, the making of the bricks, the eating afterwards. I don't see why the Border Security Expo people wouldn't love it too. So, yeah, I think we should bring it to them.
All right. All right.
Yeah.
It's that sounds good to me. All
All
right.
right.
So I think we have a plan.
Yep.
Unbelievably, you've convinced me of this.
Okay.
Um, we'll have to
Thank you.
figure out. We'll keep on reporting to you, dear listeners of the Border Chronicle, of our trajectory here, and maybe we'll have to come up with a timeline and some
All that.
goals and all that stuff. Like we usually do with plans,
Yeah.
and go for it, right? Like I
Yeah.
don't even think they have the dates yet for the next Border Security Expo, so we'll
Okay.
have to
Well,
go look and see if they have the dates here soon for the next one.
that's great. And
Um,
you could probably figure that out and tell us so we don't have
I
to
can, I
look
can,
for the
I can
date.
help you.
Okay.
I'll be your I'll be your consultant
Great.
for this.
That's great. Great.
Yeah,
And reporter. Okay.
I'll be a reporter too. This year because I go many years, almost every year.
Yeah.
But this year I can go as your reporter.
Oh my God.
So just to report on you. Yeah, I'll report on what you're doing,
The
and
finally
from the
sensible
setup to
border
the
security
takedown.
participants. Yeah.
All right.
Yeah.
So
The
maybe this
sensible
is
one.
it. Maybe this could be like personally. I've been doing this stuff forever. I've been waiting for a ground shift, or what's the word for
Yeah.
it? Like
Huh?
of thought
Yeah.
of about this. And I think to go to that word, border security,
Mm-hmm.
and say that this word is a bunch of BS, and
Mm-hmm.
then tear it apart,
Mm-hmm.
and then bring in the mud and mix it all together,
Yeah.
and build some bricks and build another concept up, a
Yeah.
complete different concept.
Yeah. And we might
I
have to.
like it.
I love it too, and it's such a seismic shift in
Yeah,
their world that we might have to make it visibly seismic so that
right,
this mud might just not be constrained to like one little area of the
right.
thing. It might have to be a very broad, muddy thing so that the whole, if you look at the Border Security Expo, you're like, oh, that's about building mud walls for border security for people. That's great. And yeah, we might have to make it very visual. So, okay, great. We have a
I
plan.
mean, we could challenge. They're very border-like at the Border Security Expo because you have your square, and then
Yeah.
the next person has a square, and you can't go over the line into the other person's
Mm.
square.
Mm-hmm.
But maybe we could
Oh,
challenge that because I think that's part of the vision we're trying to bring. Or you're trying.
absolutely.
Now I'm saying we. Look at me. I'm your reporter.
That's how it
I should be
happens.
saying
See,
your.
no, but that's a
Your.
demonstration. When we go, everybody's going to be making that mistake and saying, we need to have that vision of the border, not this one. And it's going to work. It's going to change everybody's mind, just like that.
So tell me.
Mm.
This is my last question for you.
Okay.
What if you were to get the $33 billion,
Yeah.
how would you do it?
Oh my God. What
Like
was it?
maybe they'll even give you a presentation there. Like you could go in and say, "Hey, I'm bringing this in,"
Yeah.
and they have all this huge conference area,
Yeah.
and then you have this presentation, and you could be like, "What would I do with a 33.5 billion?"
Right. Well, I'd want to make it. Well, first of all, I can. Yeah, there's probably. I mean, I'd have to look into it, but I think that even, let's say, 100th of that could fix the drought problem in northern Mexico. Let's say so. 1/100th of that sum would go to relieving drought in northern Mexico. I'd say maybe a tenth or a 20th of it could go to fixing a lot of the drought issues, a lot of the land issues in the dry corridor in El Salvador, Nicaragua, and Guatemala, and that then I think that still leaves maybe $30 billion that we'd have to figure out how to use for the benefit of people. And that might be a problem. Like, I can only really think of a little bit that we need. I mean, for our brickyard, we'd also want to take a little, but that would be about, 0.0001 would pay for a citywide network of brickyards that would make enough bricks to fix the Tucson the houselessness problem in Tucson. So, 0.0001. But we're in the borderlands, so that would be legitimate to use some of that budget for that.
Yeah,
Yeah.
sure.
And I think if we want to demonstrate to them just how pervasive this solution could feel and be for them, we might want to, have a big presentation that gets completely, there might need to be a kind of sense around element to it where people experience mud and experience the beauty of like earthen construction in its raw form before it dries. I don't know. Yeah, we could.
Maybe we could have like a mud bath thing there
Oh,
too. Like
yeah.
people could go.
Yeah, and people don't always go in the mud bath, consciously. So we might want to help them a little bit go into the mud bath. Everybody. Yeah.
Sure.
Yeah,
Sure.
I think there's
Yeah.
a lot of ways to do this. Yeah.
Well, there you have it. And then the more it spreads, the more the more that the more the $33 billion goes to all this mud stuff,
Oh,
the less
yeah.
it goes to all these surveillance towers and walls that
Right.
they're building. Like
Yeah.
the more they go to the walls that you're building,
Yeah.
the less they go to those walls, right? So
I mean, we could build
I
walls
mean, it
for
just makes
everyone with that.
yeah.
We
That could be your motto. We build walls for everyone.
everyone. Oh, that's
Yeah.
good,
And that's how
actually.
we'll have to like you'll have to apply by
Yeah.
saying that. That's how you kind of lead into it.
Yeah.
Our motto is we build walls for everyone.
For
Yeah.
everyone.
Yeah.
There's already a logo
Okay.
taking shape. Okay.
We'll have to, okay, we'll leave it at that for now because it seems like we got a good like
Plan.
baseline for a plan of action. So
Yes.
Border Chronicle, viewers, listeners, please follow along. This now has become the beginning of a story that will be at least a year long. You will follow our year-long voyage to the Border Security Expo to bring walls for everyone, but walls not like quite you might suspect, right? So
Better.
please join along in our journey. Maybe we'll have a couple more podcasts to inform you of our achievements or our lack thereof, or our progress is what I'm trying to say. But Jacques, thank you so much for joining us. And I didn't realize this would be so creative and fruitful. This podcast. I thought we were just going to talk.
Yeah.
And now we have this plan to change the world. I mean, I'm totally amazed and
From
I'm
one
excited about this.
podcast to the world. Yeah. Thank you, Todd.
Well, yeah, it's truly
And thank
truly
you for-
amazing and truly a pleasure.
Thank you for your open mind. That is the best thing that came out of this podcast. So thank you.
Okay, all right. Well, I opened it a little bit. I was a little frustrated with you at first, and I apologize for that.
No. I apologize for no.
it was worth the frustration.
Good.
It's worth the frustration. But Jacques, where in the meantime, before our next one, where can people find you?
BarrioBuffleWorks.com is the website for our nascent world-changing project here in Tucson. And we also have an Instagram, Barrio Buffleworks, that's linked on the website and all that. So, and vice versa. So yeah, either Instagram or the World Wide Web.
Oh, cool. And do you have a Substack too, that where you write? Is that correct?
There isn't one yet.
Or you is
Barrio Buffleworks.
kind.
I mean,
Okay.
the Yes
How
Men
about
have
for
a-
yourself too, yourself?
Oh yeah, I have a Substack. Well, the Yes Men have a Substack, and I use it.
Okay.
So that's the yesmen.org is that website, and the Substack
Okay.
is something, the Yesmen. And yeah, there's also, if you're in Tucson, you can just look it up and go on Saturday morning, I think pretty early in the summer, to the Brickyard, which is right next to Mission Garden. It's on Mission Lane. You can't miss it. It's 931 Mission Lane, right across the street from Mission Garden. So that's the best way to get involved. Just get muddy. Where
Oh, I'm
can
gonna
you
go.
get muddy?
I haven't been there yet. I gotta go. Yeah,
You
yeah,
gotta go. It's so fun. I think
yeah,
it restarts
yeah.
July 4th. I think that's the first date,
July 4th.
symbolic date for the first of the high summer brickmaking extravaganzas.
Right on Independence Day.
Yes. It's our
Perfect.
Declaration of Independence from
Yeah,
the building
Declaration of
industry.
Independence. Yeah, yeah.
From
All right.
capitalism.
All right, perfect. All right, so please, everyone, stay tuned. We'll have updates as we progress. And thanks again, Jacques. And we'll see you soon.
All right. Thank you, Todd.
Because you've always taken such charge.
You are listening
to the Border Chronicle.